live on camera, they just can't hear me? Oh, they can hear me? Fuck! Alright. Hello, people watching. Welcome to Gestalt Theory and Dartanyan Kane's America the. I am Dartanyan Kane, and this is a box. A box that can do cool shit. And I'm going to be playing you guys some music and talking to you a few times. This first one's called Irish Coffee and American Spirits, and I actually wrote it when I was living in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was in the backyard of my friend's house, and I had an American Spirit in one hand, Irish Coffee in the other, and I was watching the sunrise, and we had just been doing some stuff that we don't like to talk about too much in public places, and I had stayed up all night, and I ended up picking up my guitar and writing this song. I hope you enjoy it. La da da, la da da da, la da da da, da 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 da. The smell of Irish coffee and American spirits is fresh on my breath. The buzz is making things more clear, but I'm still in my head thinking about where I'm going and where I've been. The past seems so long ago, but I learned to swim in a do or die dog-eat-dog world. Sink or swim, don't get caught in the rat race, for God's sake. You can't run fast enough. And it's a fight or flight type of situation. You can't hide, you better turn and face it. For God's sakes, you can't run fast enough. La da da, la da da da, la da da da, da 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 da. The smell of marijuana and a fifth of jack stays on my breath. The liquor takes a hold of me and overcomes my head. It's just another way to cope, 'cause you're gonna have highs and lows. Oh, in a do or die dog-eat-dog world. Sink or swim, don't get caught in the rat race, for God's sake. You can't run fast enough, no. And it's a fight or flight type of situation. You can't hide, you better turn and face it. For God's sake, you can't run fast enough. La da da, la da da, la da da da, da 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 da. The smell of Irish coffee and American spirits is fresh on my breath. The buzz is making things more clear, but I'm still in my head. Woo! Water. Man, so there's a lot of times in life where you can either be stuck somewhere in your head or lost between your current life and the life that you could have, or something that was dragging you down, or maybe it could be worse. You're lost because you have no idea what to do with yourself at any aspect. And this is a song that I wrote whenever I was in that kind of mindset where I was lost. The song is named Lost. Past regrets and bad decisions, none of which I made with my head all lit up off secrets, lockets that we threw over the edge so no one could find them. 'Cause what I did is unforgivable. I'm lost at sea, and I can't seem to find my way home when you're lost at sea. You always find yourself alone. I'm lost at sea, and I can't seem to find my way home when you're lost at sea like me. There's always a time in your life where you feel like there could have been something more, something bigger, something added to a situation or an experience or a relationship in your life. And I happen to go through quite a few of those in my life so far. And it hasn't been a long one, but it's been one that's been worth living, at least up until now. And this song's called Something More, and it's something more. So beautiful when you turn away. I'm trying to find some peace in my mistakes. They never said it'd be easy having love. Oh no, but I never thought it would be like this. Think about you when I'm sipping on Jack, sitting all alone all the way in the back, reminiscing, feeling willing to take it all back, go back to the past. But I know things change, and I know things change. Between you and me, nothing will ever be the same. I'll take the blame, but I don't know what you wanted me for. I should've came with a warning, but you wouldn't have listened anyway. As soon as you put it upon me, I couldn't seem to stay away. Now I'm far away from the life we had, the love we shared, and the fun we had, and all the tears, and all the years, and all the fears, the broken trust, the lies, just being on the cusp of something more. You look so beautiful when you turn away. I'm trying to find some peace in my mistakes. They never said it'd be easy having love. Oh no, but I never thought it would be like this. I take it all in. I take it all in for the last time. I'm not good at goodbye, so you'll see me again. I take it all in. I take it all in for the last time. I'm not good at goodbye, so you'll see me again. I take it all in. I take it all in for the last time. But I'm not good at goodbye, so you'll see me again. I take it all in. I take it all in for the last time. But I'm not good at goodbye, so you'll see me again. I've been looking into this philosophy called Stoicism for a while now. It's basically the old Roman ones that speaks about just being calm in the moment and controlling your emotions and being able to live your life in a way that's free of reactionary problems. Because a lot of people, they go out into the world, and anytime that someone does anything to egg them on, they just let them do it and they feed into it. Been to your will, I can't seem to sleep at night, and I say that I'm okay and I'm still breathing. Doesn't make a difference. I always come right back this time. It's different. I won't leave my hand on the line if it makes a difference. I always come right back this time. It's different. I won't leave my heart on the line. The sun pays, regardless of your fears or faith, it still counts. And whether or not you can face it is why we're standing on this ground. Hold your head, you feel it now. Play to your drum, but I can't seem to beat it right. I let go of holding on. Things go at their own pace, moving ever forward, slowly falling to my face. But I still kiss the ground, moving ever forward, always trying to keep your pace. But I So that was called Harmony, and it's basically a song that I wrote without the use of any lyrics, just so I could get across the subtlety and like the strength of what harmony can be. It can be music, or it can be with humans. And right now, harmony and unity are things that we all need, because right now, the entire world is dividing itself based upon personal preference or systematic oppression or classism and elite people trying to make us fight each other so that we don't stand up and fight for what we should, and that's equality for all men. What I'm lucky enough to have been living a life where I've not been rich, I have not had money, I've not lived a great spectacular life, but I've made it into something that's been beautiful for me. And this song is called Eggs of a Basket, and I wrote it whenever I was at a crossroads on my way back to Phoenix from LA. I stopped in Las Vegas, and I wrote this in one of my friends' houses, and I just happened to write some music that just has a lot of soul to it whenever I'm in Las Vegas. This is my soul, and it's Eggs of a Basket. I've been trying to find the light for my whole life. I've been laid on in line to 1,000,000 times. Oh, I'm putting all my eggs in this basket. I'm all alone. Amen. I've been around and I've been wrapped around one lie. I've seen your face and I've lived 1,000 times. Oh, I choke on spit while I sit and count the time. I'm all alone. Yeah. I'm all alone. I chase my dreams and I kiss my soul goodbye. I never really wanted to learn to fly. I stick with what I know until I die. I'm all alone. I chase my dreams and I kiss myself goodbye. I never really wanted to learn to fly. I stick with what I know until I die. I'm all alone. I'm all alone. I'm all in. Time can fly when your joy is your disease. A mask facade of a man in a world at peace. So you can scream while you're begging on your knees. I'm all in. I play my soul till I can't pick up my hands. I shout it from the rooftops as loud as I can. I'll keep marching slowly until the end. I'm all alone. I'm all alone. lot of people be lost in my life, and it's affected me in a different way than it does for most people. Had to get my beer, but it affects me in a little bit different way. I take it and I make it into the most positive thing possible. This right here, these tattoos, the couple shirts that are in my boxes, they're all from people who have passed on. And I made this song called Death, and I wrote it in three different keys and different styles of playing to kind of get across the point of there's so much different levels of death and way to take it and ways to handle it, and there's different layers of grief. And I hope that you can resonate with this. The floor is so far away. All right. Take a walk through my thoughts to stop and smell the roses. They've been dead but death's and it's sickly sweet to me. It's too well known to me. Reminiscent of what we used to mean, the things that we've done, the love and life we are used to. Vanish in a moment, dies to dust in the wind, far away from what we are used to. I've gone insane. Oh, these memories I made keep me walking through memory lane. I'm way too deep. I think that I've gone insane. like to party. It's very fun. And there's a great scene out here in Phoenix to do that whenever you're not dying of COVID. And I liked to write a little song about the people that I had met and I'd probably never meet again. But I also took it and wrote it about Phoenix itself and made it into a song that's more of a ballad for the person who's partying and is losing themselves in that kind of lifestyle, as I was for a while. Luckily, I'm not doing that anymore. I only drink blueberry wheat beers because my producer makes me. Otherwise, he'll tell me he doesn't want to work anymore, and I can't have that. It's pretty good. The blueberry wheat beer is actually really tasty. 5 o'clock shadow at 6 a.m. I'm still hanging out with all my friends I may never see again, but in the moment this shit is fun. I take a drink, I drown and swim away from all my fears. If I just let my mind go crazy and rage against itself, I should be fine. I'm not an alcoholic, just a collector, letter, bottom of battle. I'm not an alcoholic, just a collector, letter, the bottom of battle. It's the same old same, but a nice change. The phoenix rising from its cage. Ashes sprawling on the floor, but I can't bear love. Shadow at 6 a.m. The scalpel breaking through my skin. I got that hammer in my hand. I watch as it falls. Habits turning me into who I am. This glass house in soul stuck. An alcoholic, just collect a letter to the bottom of battle. I'm not an alcoholic, just a collector, letter to the bottom of battle. It's the same old same, but a nice change. The phoenix rising from its cage. Ashes sprawling on the floor, but I can't bear to love. It's the same old same, but a nice change. The phoenix rising from its cage. Oh, ashes sprawling on the floor, but I can't bear to love. So I've been having a hard time my entire life with violinists. I'm not sure what it is, but whenever I meet someone who has a violin, they can be the best person ever. We could vibe as hard as you possibly could. We could be best friends. I'll never talk to them again. And it's not because I don't want to, or it's not for lack of trying. It's just we never speak again. And it's become a joke in my life where it's just like, at this point, I don't even fucking need a violinist. Like, I'm just over it. But this song's called Your Strings, and I was at this place called Bar Smith in downtown Phoenix, and this girl and I made eye contact and instantly fell for each other, and then we were hitting it off great, and then she told me she was a violinist, and then I never heard from her again. So I wrote this song about her. You got me daydreaming, big shirts in a small room. I feel my hands slide up and down your thigh as your ghost is by my side. I stay dreaming, maybe we'll meet again, but I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Eyes met at the door, and I let you walk right past me. I know that moment will stay to my memories as long as it lasts. I'll stay breathing, maybe we'll meet again, but I'll be fine. Play my heart just like your strings. Play my heart just like your strings. Play my heart just like your strings, she said to me. Play my heart just like your strings. Play my heart just like your strings. Play my heart just like your strings, she said to me. Said to me that we'll keep on dreaming. Never wanted something like this so bad before. I knew it. She had me wrapped up like a light pole and a cot. I'm feeding, got me going against what I thought I knew me for. 1 hour was all it took to leave my chin down on the floor. Play my heart just like your strings. Play my heart just like your strings. Play my heart just like your strings, she said to me. Play my heart just like your strings. Play my heart just like your strings. Play my heart just like your strings, she said to me. Said to me. We were high for hours. We were high for hours. We were high for hours. But we were lost in time. We lost the time. Play my heart just like your strings. Play my heart just like your strings. Play my heart just like your strings, she said to me. Play my heart just like your strings. Play my heart just like your strings. Play my heart just like your strings, she said to me. Said to me. Ooh. I almost burped there. So originally I put this all together so I could talk about some things that mattered to me, and those things that matter to me are unity and justice. There's not enough of either of those right now in the world, and I had a speech that I was going to say at the very end of this, but it feels too unnatural. It doesn't feel right enough. I feel like in the time since I've written it, I have grown a little bit, and I have taken on some new context to my words. And honestly, there's nothing that I could say from my point of view that could help besides we need to stand together. We are not fighting each other. White man versus black man, white woman versus black woman. There is no divide with race unless we continue letting it. Racism is an awful, awful thing, and it will continue to be an awful thing unless we stop it. Right now, the tops, the elitists, and the people who are paying for everything are trying to split us up and make us into these mini little groups because they're afraid of the power that we can have together. Black Lives Matter. And if hearing that makes you upset or want to argue, that's because innately you feel like it's an attack against you, and it's not. All it is us saying that these people's lives matter as well. And I'm not saying that this is all a giant conspiracy in order to prevent us from looking at things, but there's a lot of things going on right now, and racial justice and inclusion on all aspects is one of the only ways that we will be able to make it past this. Otherwise, we'll fall like Rome. This is a song about old flowers, dead and gone, symbolic. Twisted fantasies wrap around his head, and why wouldn't they? You fed them to him full of lies and smut. He agrees this'll be the end of them, of her, of him. However it has to work, he pleads to the universe. Set me free, please, but take it easy on them. They deserve a release, or the stress that comes with the love long lost, and the feelings of abandonment it brings only increases self-doubt and blaming. Oh, and I'm still coping, can you blame me? The old bouquet of flowers you left on my fireplace finally met its rest today. I'm kicking myself for writing this. Did I not try hard enough? I pray to whoever will listen. I pray deep. Sometimes the only salvation that comes cuts deep and keeps the blood running until he can't speak. Is that clear enough? Until he can't speak. Is that clear enough? Please, whatever you may be, don't make their life so tough. Whenever I leave, whenever I leave, please, whatever you may be, don't make their life so tough. Whenever I leave, whenever I leave. I don't know about you guys, but I have a tendency to fall in love with the wrong person every time. It creates for good music, I gotta be honest. But this song is called Desire. I wrote it about a girl. She's gonna remain unnamed. Promise that she's watching. And yeah, her name's in it, so if you know her, you might be able to pick it up. It's called Desire. Desire, oh, desire courses through. Desire, oh, desire courses through our veins. As the feet align, the moon will shine upon your face. Until I see the sun, it's not every day. You feel the music, I feel it moving too. Desire, oh, desire courses through. Desire, oh, desire courses through our veins. going straight from the right lane, racing to a stoplight. I see your point, but I don't wanna act like I'm not here, and you're not feeling this too. Oh yeah. Desire, oh, desire courses through. Desire, oh, desire courses through our veins. Line that fairy dust on the table. No fables, it's just us. Got me a rose and it's unstable, but I don't give a fuck. Line that fairy dust on the table. No fables, it's just us. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got me a rose and it's unstable, but I don't give a fuck. Yeah, yeah, yeah. La da 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 da. Ooh. There's a change coming. There's a big change coming, and we're already seeing it happen. We're watching it happen all around us. There's people going and there's people fighting for their right to exist. There's people going and they're fighting against that strictly because they believe it's right. Everyone has different perspectives and different opinions. But whenever there's a new moon, there's a universal feeling of newness, of finding new things and making breaks in new ground. And so this song's called New Moon, New Me, and pretty self-explanatory. I love playing this song. It's so much fun. Yeah. Well, these things are super cool though. Like, they're super fun to play with. I only got them like 3 days ago, so if I'm not exactly the tightest ever, sorry. I promise, give me like 3 weeks. I just wanted to come and try to use them, see how well I could do. I just breathe, take a few steps back. Everything ain't what it seems, but there's good to take away from that. Righteous course ain't
next 3 songs are my last, and I'm actually working on them and recording them all with these microphones and these instruments, as well as with the hand of Mello, my producer off there in the distance, who came through and really helped me out with the audio. And these 3 songs, they're a little bit more political than I've ever written before, because before now I never really had a drive to want to write things that were like that were geared towards specific things, and I would write more based upon my experiences and my life and just things that I want to write about. But recently I've decided to use my platform for good and to open ears to people and to open eyes to things that I haven't experienced before, like how I am safe to go sleep in my bed at night without the fear of cops coming in and shooting me. I can eat Skittles walking down the street without the same fear. I can walk into a store and know that I'm not going to be followed around. There's a lot of people who don't understand that, and it's up to us who do to kind of work it into their mind. Right now is probably one of the most frustrating times in modern history, strictly because we have people who refuse to acknowledge that they are racist or refuse to acknowledge that they are classist. And so they're pushing themselves farther back into that mindset because we're attacking them. If racism seems like a simple concept to you, and it's simple not to be racist, then you're with the fucking majority of us. But there is some that find it hard to look at someone as at their face and be like, you are a human. And that is unfortunate. That's a very unfortunate thing, especially with everything going on, with all of us being stuck inside and the pent-up aggression and the anger that's been raging through all of us. This song is called Stuck, and it's about being stuck in your head. I wrote it during the quarantine, and I allude to coronavirus, but it's more of a depression than it is of anything. Everything I write is up for open interpretation. You can listen to it however you like. I can't tell you how to do that. I'm sleeping late on a Sunday afternoon, and I can't seem to stay awake for long. And all this time is in my hands. I pray and fade into my own resolve. I fall to my knees. I say it slowly out. Our voice is stuck in place. I fade away with an ugly aptitude to take and twist the dark into my thoughts. Never stop and step away. I fear I've been trapped in this space before. I have my shit lined up. The coven screeches out. Our voice is stuck in place. Gotta take one more shot and try to remember where I left off. About to take 2 steps back. In fact, it's all screaming for me to follow. About to take one more shot and try to remember where I left off. About to take 2 steps back. In fact, it's all screaming for me to follow. Oh, oh, oh. I can't escape, waiting for your love to come to me. I know that you're right there, all up in the moment, thinking about your luck. Love streaming from the inside out to the basics, just to stay in touch. All of these crises
Gotta take one more shot and try to remember where I left out. About to take two step back, in fact, he's all screaming for me to fall off. Gotta take one more shot and try to remember where I left out. About to take two step back, in fact, he's all screaming for me to fall off. Oh, oh, oh.
So, more about death and stoicism. This song's called Memento Mori, which is a stoic philosophy meaning we all die. Or, hold on, I gotta pop my toes. Or we all die, or we are all mortal. And that's not a bad thing though. It says it almost comically, like sarcastically, like we're all gonna die, fuck it. And so I took that into living into my life with it. And so I wrote a song that helps people deal with death, because there's so much death and destruction and unfortunate disease and just awful things going on. And so I just felt like there was a need to help people put things in perspective as much as I can anyway.
Step into the office again. It sits with arms wide open. Do you wear your heart on your sleeve? Let me see if I can take it. We just vibe. Hair pulling mess. I try to ease my mind and feel every time. Try to wear my heart on my sleeve just to see if I can take it. We just vibe. Save your breath, stay with me. I can't stop this, I won't try.
this is going to be the last song that I do. And I really appreciate everyone who's listened and everyone who's been a part of it. Gestalt Theory, I really appreciate you guys for having me on for this. And, of course, Mello. And then Melissa, the beautiful photographer. Amazing people. I have seen a lot of dog whistling. And what that is whenever someone says something or someone does something that's calling for something else other than what they're saying, like subliminal in between the lines messages said but just straight to someone's face, but really it's attacking their entire character. This song is called Dog Whistle, and it could be interpreted in many different ways. I wrote it as a call out to racism. Do we have a towel? I just spilt my beer. But I wrote it as a call out to racism. And yeah. I think that works. Yeah, just toss it. That was almost over my head. I spilt my blueberry wheat beer. I was talking about serious things. And then I spilt my blueberry wheat beer all over the floor. I need the antioxidants. Okay, so anyways, back to serious song. This is called Dog Whistle. I can really hear what they're saying. Between these lines ain't the same. Sneaky feelings creeping through my window. I feel something deep inside of you. Don't really hear what you're saying. The complex shame's all the same. As creepy feelings sneaking through your window, you'll be seeing it all another way. I don't really wanna sleep or nothing. I just pray to your ghost. Keeps me up, he can screaming, puppeted. I've lost count of the words that I've heard from the mouth of someone in my skin. They utter a breath, lacing the curse. It's facing the bait, debating with some hate and it hurt. To think that they can bring the hurt, so we won't care or concern about who the fuck did this. Who the fuck did this? Come out your hole. I see you hiding with your dog whistle. Come out your hole. I see you hiding with your dog whistle. I don't really wanna sleep or nothing. I just pray to your ghost. Ooh, keeps me up, he just screaming, puppeted. I've lost count of the words that I heard from the mouth of someone in my skin. Oh, 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 can't you see it's all innate, stuck through your blood, shoved in your brain? Take one step in and accept how the darkness reaches, lashing out. Can't you see it's all innate, stuck through your blood, shoved in your brain? Take one step in and accept how the darkness reaches, lashing out. I don't really wanna sleep or nothing. I just pray to your ghost. Ooh, keeps me up, he just screaming, buffeted. I lost count of the words that I've heard from the mouth of someone in thank you guys so much. And I did have a big, long speech, but instead I said it between what I was going to say, and it just felt more natural that way. I hope that everyone has a great night and remembers that we're all in this together. Woo! Where's the bunny? I want the bunny. Am I still up?